Okay, I wanted to share what's going on with AI telemetry. AI telemetry is an public open source project on GitHub. It's github.com/ocp-on-nerc/AI telemetry. And this is for introspection and telemetry for AI optimization. And this is what we're using at Red Hat Research and at the Mass Open Cloud to give observability to how GPUs are being utilized within the clusters. And I have a workbench here. And some of the latest things we've been doing is creating new ways to request an AI cluster. And this is an example of an AI cluster request. It doesn't actually provision a cluster, but it's the start. It's a template for doing this and choosing a cluster template and giving the cluster a name. And so I've been improving the user interface for AI telemetry because there were a few broken features when it comes to searching for GPU devices, for example. There's these filters here. So, let me hide the video panel. Hide video panel. And okay, so there's these filters. So you can click. Oh, my mouse is weird. You can click on cluster name, and what it does is it does a facet query, which means it looks at the values for cluster name and counts the number of that times that value appears. So you can see there's 19 GPU devices in the NERC OCP prod cluster, 8 in Barcelona, 5 in NERC OCP test, 4 in Albany. Or at least there used to be these GPUs. So maybe we need to do some cleanup because I don't think there is actually any GPUs in Albany or Barcelona, but there used to be. So maybe these need to be archived, but we can get cool insights just like that. We can also click on NERC OCP prod, and it's going to filter the results to just NERC OCP prod. Or I can click that off, and then do NERC OCP test. And then you see these NERC OCP test ones here on the left. And if I choose Barcelona, there's the Barcelona ones. So this is some stuff that was kind of broken before, but now it's working really good. Also, we have the ability to sort. So I can do sort by cluster name ascending, and there's Albany or descending. There's NERC OCP test. Now also there's a more advanced search, although this may be not working so good. I should be able to, yeah, this user interface still has some bugs, but what I'm trying to do is allow you to sort on cluster name and then sort on GPU device number descending, for example. I don't think that actually worked. So yeah, there's some bugs there. So I got some more work to do on this sort, but it's a work in progress. I'm also trying to get the graphs to work, which relate to range and pivot and stats. But but I'm not there yet. I need to fix that because I broke it in the past when I did a reworking the AI and introducing WebAwesome, web components, and also getting rid of jQuery and just using raw JavaScript. So there's a few things that are still broken, but we need more graphs related to our GPU devices. So I'm trying to add those features back. So hopefully later on this week, we'll be able to get those things working. But at least the filters are working really good. So that's really useful. Okay, so we want to onboard new developers to have their own AI telemetry workbench. And let me make sure I'm pulling the latest code here. So AI telemetry, git pull, already up to date. I have some changes. Can't remember what these are. Okay, a few UI related things. So I'm going to commit these 1 through 10. Seeing UI bugs and AI telemetry static. Push those changes up. Now we have some clean repos to work on. And now getting started, OpenShift AI. These were my Ansible playbooks for getting started with OpenShift AI, but I think I also let's see here. Here I put some Ansible roles. No, it's not that. Sorry, I need to check my latest commits. OCP on NERC, AI telemetry. Oh, I know. Gotta go to my fork of AI telemetry. And go to my branch. Adding Ansible for deploying workbenches. Where did this go? Playbooks. Customize overlays MOC. Oh, okay. Let me think. So AI telemetry, customize overlays, MOC. playbooks, deploy workbenches. That's where it was. So this is Ansible. This is a playbook. It's saying run a role called overlay vars and then run a role called deploy workbenches. In overlay vars, it's quite simple. In fact, do we even have tasks in here? Oh, yeah. So it's going to include some vars in this overlay vars.yaml file, which is found right here. And our previous users were Diraj and Cristiano, but that was a 6-month gig. Now we have users for, here's where I'm going to have to go. CP on NERC, NERC OCP config. Contributors, we got Isaiah. Let's see, GitHub. Say Isaiah Stapleton here. And then Danny. Danny-ish. Yeah, Danny. When it comes to Keycloak, we're going to make the usernames be lowercase because that's what it's expecting. Okay, so we're going to build workbenches for these two and deploy workbenches, tasks. I might need to take a look at default config map for AI telemetry and see how it compares to github.com/computate-org/smart aquaculture Red Hat Summit, because this is where this is my latest deployment code for the upcoming Red Hat Summit. Git clone. Oh, let me grab the HTTPS. All right. Oh, but also let me clone a different one, which is called Smart Aquaculture Workbench.git, because this has the default config map. No, actually it's there. I was wrong. All right. So I basically want to compare these two. Deploy workbenches. and deploy workbenches. Can I do a click on deploy workbenches there, deploy workbenches there. No, it doesn't let me compare, so default config map and default config map compare selected. Yeah, here's the changes that I got to move from one side to the other. Web component secret. Those are correct for this database host name. That got renamed. Oops. And these site powered by name. Actually, we don't need to overwrite those. That looks pretty good. Okay, I want to compare config map and config map. Okay, here's a few differences. Auth admin username. Auth scope admin, auth scope super admin, site theme, site theme. Site short name. All right, I'm gonna move these over. This over. Site short name, auth realm. Okay, keep those. All right, that looks better. Now let me check all of the deploy workbench tasks. We don't need to create a separate namespace because we're sharing a namespace in this case. Wait, but this is the wrong workbench tasks. Okay, so I want to compare those to these up here. Deploy workbench tasks, compare selected. Don't need to create a namespace. Don't need to create those things. Service accounts and auth client secrets. We already have that in place. Creating some namespace role bindings. Create a font awesome secret. We already have that. Create a Postgres secret and namespace. Do that. Deploy workbenches, deploy workbench here. Okay, so create a role binding, create a persistent volume claim, create the config map, create the default config map, create the other config map, create a notebook, wait for the workbench to be ready, configure vars.py, configure VS Code extensions, configure VS Code settings.json, user settings.json, key bindings. There's actually another setting I wanted to add in here. Cat. Dot local share code server user settings. Files autosave. Yeah, this is autosave is bad when you're doing code generation. It makes a lot of overhead requests to do code generation. So I'm going to disable that. So that's a problem. Oh, let's look at this user settings, settings.json. .json. Telemetry. Workbench auto detect color scheme true. Workbench color theme default dark modern red hat. Telemetry enabled Java inlay hints parameter names enabled none. Remote auto forward port source hybrid. I don't know. What I wanted to add was this one. Oops. Files autosave off and window auto detect color scheme. So I'm going to add this over here. Okay. User settings.json. Okay. And that's good. Deploy workbench. Configure key bindings for Vim. Symbolic link to project vars. Clone computate repos. Install a Python virtual environment. Create a bash RC file. Install Python dependencies. Create Solr computate collection and site collection and index the search classes and the vertex classes and create a database secret, create a service network policy and route, a launch.json, and generate.sh for generating code and indexing code and a watch.sh. Okay, this looks like everything we need. So if I go into, let's see, do I have a README for this? Ansible playbook, AI telemetry / customize overlays MSC. Oh wait, I should cd into this directory and then run Ansible playbooks. deploy workbenches and see what happens. Okay, it says it's going to do this for Isaiah and Danny. Oh, it failed. Okay, so exceeded quota. Here's where I could either ask for more quota or delete the existing workbenches here. I think since Dheeraj and Cristiano are no longer on the project, I should delete their workbenches. So unless actually what I want to try is storage, persistent volume claims, Dheeraj. I don't think you can shrink a PVC. That's the only problem. And we're kind of out of quota administration resource quotas.
So about the PVC, I'm not really sure, but when I had this call with this guy from the storage 2 weeks ago, he said generally you can shrink them, and he was wondering why we were so afraid of it. But I'm not really sure if this is valid for all PVCs and how we set them up.
Yeah, because I mean, I could try to do it manually here. Can I set this to 2GI? Save. It updated. Let's see, reload. No, it didn't actually. No, that was the status. Let me change this to spec save. Forbidden. Field cannot be less than previous value. So, okay. What I want to do, since like I asked for exactly the quota that we needed, but also, you don't have to have a workbench store, but I'd love to create you a workbench, which means we need some additional resource quota. So I thought I would at least ask for it in the cold front.
Yes, please do so.
Yeah, so here's what I'll do. Okay, so OpenID Connect, AI telemetry. So this is how we do it in the Mass Open Cloud, is we have an allocation here for OpenShift. And we come in here and we request a change. So it tells us our current limits. And what we need here is, I'm going to ask for persistent volume claims quota. We at least need 13. And the storage we need is an additional 30. No, 60. 188. And 492 GIB in, no, MIB in GIB is 48. How so then we want 48 plus I'm just not good at math. So 48 plus 8 times 3 72. So then 72 GIB and MIB is this. Where did I have my quota thingy? Oh boy, now I'm lost in my tabs. Oh, there's a clever way to do this. Let's see, cold front. Search tabs, cold. There it is. I'll push this at the end. CPU quota, we need 2 CPUs per user. So I'm going to bump this up to 26. And we're not worried about ephemeral storage. So I think that'll be good. And then we're definitely out of persistent volume claims and requests storage. So that'll give us some more room to grow. And that looks good. So I'm going to request this. One sec, I'll be right back. Okay, justification for changes. Onboarding new developers, or they say Danny for Telemetry UI development. Submit. All right, so that's good for now. Now, I know that I don't want to delete Dheeraj's workbench was my worry if I don't have to, but Cristiano's was not used, so I'm going to delete this one. See, second. And delete the storage for that one. And this will allow us to create one workbench until we get our allocation approved. And I know that Isaiah is excited to get on board, so I'm going to build one for him first. Let's see, actually that was not spaced correctly, but that should be now. All right, so that looks good. Let me try this again now. Okay, persistent volume claim. Good. Config map. Oh, is undefined. So let me think. We do that in overlay vars. So let me compare the overlay vars here with the overlay vars in smart aquaculture vars, overlay vars. See what the difference is. So we're obviously missing some. Compare these. Auth namespace. See site namespace is this. Auth namespace should be the same. So we'll do site namespace And OpenShift apps domain. It's that. Auth hostname is that. Auth URL, auth realm, auth client, auth namespace should be back up here. And then workbench size 20 GI, site short name AI telemetry, site name AI telemetry, site description, site display name. Okay, that one's extra, but good. Main vertical package, POM artifact ID, site port, site SRC, computate source code, computate vertex source code, Solar namespace. Is that database namespace? Is that auth namespace? Oh, I already have that. Admin namespace. Enable fireware false. And site theme. Oh yeah, I forgot this one. Dark theme. At least I prefer dark. So that looks good. Clear. Deploy workbenches. Okay, it is going. Let's check this out. So go to workloads, pods. Here is Isaiah's being created here. We go to the OpenShift AI workbench. See Isaiah Stapleton starting. It's just pulling the notebook image onto the node. This notebook image is enabled with VS Code. It's the official Red Hat image for VS Code, but it also includes OpenJDK Java dependencies so that you can run Java. Takes a while to pull. It's a big image. And you might think, well, didn't you already pull this image to run your own workbench? And that's true. The problem is it needs to download on the node, the actual computer where that pod is running. And if we look at Isaiah's pod, it's on worker 20 node.
Mm-hmm.
But if we look at computate, then it's on worker 34. So that's different. It's not the same computer. So it's got to pull the image because it's distributed. That's the cool thing about cloud computing. Is it's distributed, but it takes a long time to pull the image sometimes. There it goes. It's pulled. Setting up the authentication. So Thor, if we're talking about like a template for deploying AI and enabling a demo on AI, then we can use this type of automation to automatically deploy a workbench for a specific use case, deploy a specific image stream to pull down a model, stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah.
So this is running now, and we can open this up and log in with MSS Keycloak, allow, and check that everything is going smooth. I'm going to say, yes, I trust the authors. And what I expect to see is this file system starting to fill up. So let me check in my other workbench here. Oh, it failed. So let's see. Wait for workbench ready condition. Configure vars.py. Vars.py does not exist in the local file system. So let me see here. Smart Agriculture Red Hat Summit. Close all, then come back to deploy workbench vars.py. So this is supposed to copy a specific vars.py. MLC roles, template, which doesn't exist. MLC roles, deploy workbenches, templates, vars.py. Oh, because I was being sloppy here. This should be site src. Is that used other places? Yeah. All right. And then run this again. So everything's okay because it's already been deployed. Now it is creating files. So if we go to the workbench, you see it created a bash RC, created a vars.py, created vars.yaml. So, weird. It's cloning some repos. Let me open a terminal here. Cat vars.yaml. No such file or directory. Huh. It's a symbolic link, and it doesn't exist yet because it hasn't cloned that repo yet. Yeah. Was it going to clone the repo? I can't remember. Let's see. Clone. Git clone. Computate base, computate vertex, computate. It doesn't actually clone AI telemetry, but basically they need to provide their own fork of AI telemetry there. So I guess that's okay. But this is automatically setting up the workbench for them. So it's pretty exciting because we can enable developers really easy. Look, so sometimes these resource quotas get back really quick. So I think it got an approval. So we got storage 188 GI and limits 72. And persistent volume is 13. So we're good to go. We can create the rest of them. Cool. We're going to add Schwezig to the overlay vars. And Danny. Anyway, this is going to continue, but that's what I wanted to share today. It's those AI telemetry UI improvements and how we deploy these workbenches. Pretty cool, huh?
Cool. Yes. Thank you.
Any questions?
Not from my side. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop sharing and thanks for joining.